Hey, what's going on, guys? Mike Glover, Black Rifle Coffee Company. Another pro tip. Let's talk about gun setup, specifically pistols. Hey, what's going on, guys? Thank you so much for tuning in to Pro Tips with Black Rifle Coffee Company. I want to make sure that you get the notifications on the new latest drops because we're doing a lot. Make sure you hit the subscription button and hit the notification tab so you can get those updates. I appreciate you. And now, on to the content. We get a lot of questions on, hey, what's the best pistol setup? What's the best pistol? And here's the bottom line. It just depends, guys. There's a whole bunch of justification for why you should have like 100 pistols. I have cowboy guns behind me. Why would I have a cowboy gun? Are they good for self-defense? No, they're pretty to look at, and I just like clicking them 4 clicks down and thinking about the pioneers and how the West was won. But it has nothing to do with self-defense or anything like that, which means that pistols, primarily, you could justify having a specific type of pistol for a specific utility. So why would I have a Glock and a SIG next to each other? Well, because I use them both. This is a Glock 17. This is something that I use as a contractor in the military. Didn't really use it in the military. I used Glock 19s and Glock 22s, but never really used a Glock 17, even though a Glock 17's frame is the same as a Glock 22. This is chambered in 9mm. I'm very familiar with the platform. Is it the greatest gun? No, not really. But let me tell you a little bit about some of the things that I changed specifically to make it work for me, which is the overall arching theme of why there's not an end-all be-all solution. Like the guys who I used to shoot, USPSA with 20 years ago would tell you 1911s is the only gun for them and for you. But then Glocks came around, and then you're like, whoa, these guys with Glocks and Dave Savigny and all these guys are doing really well. So when I got into a Glock, it was because that was what I was issued. When I got out of the military, I realized like there's a lot of modifications that are necessary to make a Glock work for me. Some of those are the sights. This particular sights are similar to Warren Tactical sights. These actually might be Warren Tactical, which is a company that makes a 0.175-inch front end. That's a red or green fiber optic that allows your eyes to pick up the front sight just a little bit better because that front rod, as you can see, it gathers light, which makes it really bright as a point of reference. Versus, stock plastic Glock sights are probably the first thing that you need to do is take your Leatherman or a Gerber and take those off in the parking lot because they're just horrible sights. So modifying those worked for me. Also, this particular gun out of the box comes real slick. So I wanted it modified with stippled grip. Stippling is just a process where you use heat to melt the polymer to allow you a little bit more friction on the gun so it just fits better in your hand and grips down. Because these guns, because they are polymer, run really slick. I even did that on the support side right here where my thumb would go. I put a little bit of friction here so that I could feel that friction when I'm shooting with my support hand. Also, on these pistols, they have a slide catch / slide release, depending on the nomenclature school you went through. My hand is notorious for locking down the slide catch / slide release because I'm overwhelming the grip. And when that happens, it fails to lock the slide to the rear during a slide lock reload, or I just pinch it a little bit, just a little bit of spring tension, and it prematurely locks the slide to the rear. I don't like that, which is why I like this little doohickey here made by CAGWorks, because there must be a problem. A lot of people are reporting that issue. CAGWorks has one that gets up and out of the way just enough to where your hand doesn't lock that prematurely. So I need that on this Glock to make it work for me. Again, depending on where you come from, the size of your hands, just a whole bunch of factors, you're gonna wanna design the pistol that meets your requirements. Now, originally this pistol as a 17 Charlie, I remember getting this pistol custom made by Triarch Systems. It had a ported barrel. Now, the barrel's not ported. Why? Because when it was ported and then I was doing a demonstration or teaching or thinking about this pistol in self-defense, I didn't want that brass flying through the barrel and then hitting me in the face in close proximity, right? So I got rid of that. I didn't necessarily need that and kept the serration in the slide. There's a couple serrations in this slide. Actually, these are pretty much stock serrations. There's a little bit of design serration, but pretty much stock serration to allow you to press check or load from the front or rear. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The magwell, I didn't have any magwell work done to it. It works pretty good outside of those modifications for me that I just went over. Now you'll notice there's a base plate here for a red dot optic that's not on it. Why? Man, I just suck at red dot optics. One of the reasons I suck at it is because my eyes aren't very good up close. I'm on the verge of having to get those little spectacles. I'm gonna have to get those soon. And so the red dot's kind of blurry to me. So I don't like that. Also, I'm just not comfortable with it because I didn't grow up with it. Not because I'm like, iron sights is the only way. I know that a red dot is faster than front sight acquisition because you can have target focus and have the red dot floating in the background of your vision as a point of reference. And carry optics in USPSA is changing the game. Let me show you the next pistol that I got, which I'm working the courage to get into because it is different. Shooting a red dot optic where the height over the bore, the red dot height over the barrel, the center of the barrel, is higher than obviously the sights that don't even exist on this gun. Now this is Max Michel, who's a pro shooter for Sig Sauer. This is his custom gun designed for carry optics. So I shot this a few times. It was like, man, this is actually a really good shooting gun. It's like on a 320 platform. I think this one has the tungsten infused grip module, so it feels heavy and weighted, has a magwell, has that big beaver tail, super custom, flat trigger, shoots really good. Now, is this a self-defense gun? No, a different complete application. I mean, I'm carrying like a P365 XL macro. I'm carrying a HK P7. I'm carrying all these different, a 38 special sometimes with a hammerless, that's a hammerless revolver, depending on what I'm doing. This is not an everyday carry inside the waistband pistol. It could be, depending on who you are. If you're 300 plus pounds and you're a big guy, maybe this is your gun. For me, it's not. This is a carry optics flat range gun, something that I want to compete with, have fun with. It has a Romeo 3 Max, which I like better than any optic that's come out by SIG. Some of the smaller ones have a lot of complaints. I don't like them, and they're too small. I also don't like the Trijicon RMR specifically because it's just a little bit too small of a window for me. I have to have, I mean, my eyes are half closed anyway. Can I put that on there? I like a larger window, and the Max does that for me. So it's just a larger window. So the SIG Romeo 3 Max also on this gun has a different height than the sights, which means I have a different position. So my natural position for a pistol with this is I'm positioning it here, and that's front sight focus, in line with my eye. And you can see my hand position. Because this is pretty low profile, when I take this pistol, it changes everything. Now my shooting position is it feels a lot lower. And then that red dot is there. So I have to get used to positioning this pistol in a different position each and every time. But this setup compared to this Glock is minimal compared to a lot of setups that I've used. Like, imagine if I put a red dot on this pistol. If I did that, it's going to change the position of my hands, and that's what's been difficult, is the alignment in my field of view. So all these things create different variations for different pistols, and here's the justification for you, man. Explain to your old lady, like, it's the reason why you just ordered 100 guns from Gunbroker, right? It's just like knives. If I want a knife for hunting, Montana Knife Company. If I want a knife for, I don't know, survival, a Stroop knife. If I want a hatchet for breaching inside of my truck, Dan Winkler. So I have different knives, different blades, different hatchets for different circumstance. Same thing with a pistol. USPSA, having fun, Glock 17 on a flat range, and self-defense. So I hope that helped a little bit, guys. The ultimate objective of this video is to tell you and describe to you, man, there's no end-all be-all solution. Just have a lot of options. Till next time, I'm Mike Glover. Peace out, guys. Hey guys, hope you love that content on Pro Tips. We love getting your feedback. We want to hear what you want us to talk about next. Look, we cover the full spectrum of preparedness, so don't feel shy. Make sure you let us know what you want us to give Pro Tips on down below in the comments. Until next time. Thanks, guys.